Hey guys, Fatheadz-eyewear Pro Jacob Wheeler here. This week we're going to talk about frog rod setups. You know, there's really two rods that I'm going to throw on a regular basis, and the big thing, what rod I'm going to throw is depending on the cover that I'm fishing. When I'm fishing matted vegetation, I want a heavier action rod. So when I'm throwing on those big flats at Guntersville, I'm going to throw a 7.2 to a 7.6 heavy action rod. Now this is a medium heavy action rod by Camaro actually, but what this rod has is it has a lot of backbone. You see that little fast tip right there, but it has a lot of backbone. Once you get to right there, it's just straight backbone. So this is not the rod that I'm going to skip with, but this is my heavy cover rod. When I can skip with it, but it's not the premium rod to be skipping with, but it has enough backbone to get those fish out of there. Also has enough tip to work it, because a lot of people talk about frog fishing on mats. You still want enough tip, so when that fish eats it, it gives it a little time, and you can work the frog so much better with just that slightest bit of tip. So that's my mat fishing rod. A 7.2 to about a 7.6 is about max on that, because when you want to work your frog down and the fish eat it, you want to have that leverage, but you don't want to have it too long where your rod's hitting the water. So that's number one. Number two is my skipping rod. Okay, this is my open water. This is around bushes and stuff, and even I'll fish it a little bit around mats, but mostly if I'm going to skip anywhere, if I'm skipping under underhangs, skip around bushes, skipping around docks, this is the rod. A rod like this is what I'm going to use. This is just a teamed Iowa rod. It's actually a frog rod, and I don't like this necessarily for fishing mats because it's a lot lighter actions. You'll see how that has a lot lighter tip to it. Okay, you think, well, you know, you might not be able to get this fish out of there, but this is perfect for that. To load that tip just a little bit more is super important when you're trying to skip. When you're trying to skip under docks, skip up under bushes, or anything you're trying to skip, this is the rod I'm going to use, and when that fish eats it, you shut the hook and you have them. I throw 65-pound Suffix 832 on all my frogs. And it normally does really, really well. I've had no issue with that. I've never broke a fish off on it. So that's super important to pick a good quality braid, 65-pound. You can throw a 50-pound, but it's just something about that 65. You know, if I don't have to downsize my line, my size line, I'm not going to. So remember, softer tip for skipping rods, 7.2, 7.3 for my skipping rod, over the 7.6, 7.2 to 7.6 for my mat rods. Hopefully you guys learned something. We'll see you next week.